Effective is a great word to describe the way that they play. It's not flashy, but boy, it works. Back-to-back years. What about that forecheck? As you pointed out, there's a cumulative effect to it, and they really wore down the Rangers.
You could see it over the series, but you could even see it over every game, where the Rangers in the first period were largely playing kind of even with Florida. But as the games went on, the Panthers were able to assert their dominance, their will on the Rangers because of how physical it was, because, you bang, you get hit every time, you're under pressure. It's not even always just getting hit, but it's just the fact that you're always under pressure.
That's it, exactly.
Like, you don't have time to think, to settle, to move it. And you look at the puck battles won as the game wore on. In the third period, look at the Panthers win 2 out of 3 puck battles. If you're winning puck battles, which is, it's the game in a nutshell.
Yep.
Then if you're winning almost 60% of them, you have it that much more often. The other team is chasing it. And mistakes happen. You get opportunities, and you find a way to win. And that's what they do. They think, you know what? We're so comfortable playing when it's tight. We'll just keep doing the same thing. We're not going to force. We're not going to cheat. We're not going to chase. We are just going to keep repeating what we do, knowing that eventually we'll get what we need.
Yeah. This isn't new. They just didn't start this at the playoffs. It was probably about a year and a half ago. It was a game in Toronto. I don't know if you were even doing that game.
I wasn't that game, but yes.
But it was a game in Toronto when Paul Maurice lost it on his team. And then the identity of the Florida Panthers kind of really got solidified from there. And it was all about accountability to each other, and this is how we're going to play. We're going to be tough to play against on every single shift. And being tough to play against isn't dropping the gloves, isn't intimidating somebody. It's knowing your opponent knowing that you're going to go into the battle and the guy you're going to go against is not going to quit. And that is the Florida Panthers in a nutshell. And the game is all about one-on-one battles. It's not, we see a lot of pretty plays, but when you dissect the game, it's who wins the one-on-one battles. And the game has started with a one-on-one battle at the opening faceoff. And the one-on-one battles in front of the net, the one-on-one battles on the boards, and the puck battles. And the Florida Panthers, they're not going to win every battle, but they want to be at 51% minimum. And then it goes to 55, then to 60, then to 70. And as the game goes on, in the third period arrives, they're up in the 80s because they wear down and they take the will away from the other team. And it's difficult to build your team in that style of and with players, because a lot of players who like to do that aren't the Barkovs, aren't the Kachucks, aren't the Bennetts, aren't the Verhaeghes, aren't the
finding the skill guys that can
the Reinhardts. Yes, aren't the guys who are going to score you 30 to 50 goals. They're the guys who are scoring you 20 goals, and they're going to work their butt off constantly because that's what they do. And Florida's got a very, very good mix. And that was when they brought Matthew Tkachuk in. We want to change the identity of our team. And the Rangers knew it coming, and everybody knew it. The Rangers are a very good team. They won the President's Trophy for a reason. They get to the conference final for a reason. They're a very good team. They just can't play this style of hockey. Boston Bruins can't do it. Carolina can't do it. Toronto can't do it. There are very few teams. Tampa Bay couldn't do it. There are very few teams in the National Hockey League that can play this style of hockey. And it is going to be a battle in the Stanley Cup final, whoever they face, whether it be Dallas or Edmonton. And they've got it down to a T. I've never seen a team play this style so consistently for so long.
And I think that consistency, not only over the course of the game, but I think line over line. The fact that the first line does it in a very similar way that the fourth line does it.
Absolutely.
The first pair does it the same way the third pair does it. You don't have a drop-off and a change. Like, yes, the first line guys might do it with a bit more skill so they can create and finish those chances.
Yeah.
But they play the same.
Yes.
It's the same straightforward pinching defenseman, forecheck heavy, that kind of stuff that they do. And when it just rolls over, I can only imagine playing against a team like that. And it's not about, like, the Rangers aren't, intimidated about getting hit. It's just they're always under pressure. They can't make the plays they want to make.
Okay, so try playing on that team. Imagine the one-on-one drills in practice.
No.
Like I played on teams that had the mentality, and it's tougher in practice because your practices are tougher. Like, you imagine going up against Matthew Tkachuk or Sam Bennett in practice. And there was I used to tell people when I was a general manager of the junior team with the Peterborough Petes, and it was like, what do you look for in a player? Well, I look for competitiveness when I'm scouting. And you know what competitiveness is? If I took we used to call it like a loony, so you can say a quarter. So if I took a quarter and threw it in the middle of the players in the locker room, you know who I want? I want the guy who's going to come out with the quarter. I guarantee you, everybody on Florida, like, that quarter might be broken by the time it gets out of that locker
They're
room. And
getting a penny
that's the
each.
competitiveness because, okay, I'm going to get it. And everybody on that team has that competitive mentality. And in practice alone, their practices are much tougher, I'll bet you, than anything we've watched throughout this series in the playoffs. And that's why they're successful, and that's why they're going to be a very difficult team to defeat in the final.
This series was so hard fought. 97% of the series was played either even or with a one-goal spread. Fascinating just how close these teams were.